So with plenty of double game weeks and a blank just around the corner, let's see who the potential transfers are for Double Game Week 24. Hello there, hope you're having a great Wednesday. What is up guys, and welcome back to FPL Today and the potential transfers video for Game Week 24, which is a double game week. And finally we're able to do 2 videos for a game week because we finally have a bit of a break from the Premier League, which is much appreciated because it means I can actually do some more in-depth research than I usually do and make sure I watch all of the football that I possibly can before the next game week. So hopefully my decisions are better than some of the decisions I've made, which include getting rid of Dallas and Patrick Bamford. Either way, if you do enjoy the videos on this channel where we try to honestly go through the FPL season and give you as much advice as possible, please do hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for FPL. Your support is much appreciated. And let's get straight into this video. So we're starting off with the team selection for Game Week 24, and as you can see, we have a 4-4-2 to start off Game Week 24 with the likes of the Man City boys, who do have a double game week, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who also have a double game week. So if I don't talk too much about them, that's because I'm quite happy to keep them in my side, and I would quite happily back any of those 4 to do decently well in double game week 24. However, we're going to focus on the areas of this team that I do want to look at and address, and then the potential transfers, which will focus on double game week players. And just to make sure you guys are in the loop, just so you're aware, there is a double game week 24 and 25, which I hopefully think you're aware of, but there's a likelihood there's going to be a double game week 26 and 27 as well. So at some point, I'm probably likely to play my wild card and then a bench boost in this next 4 game week. With all that covered, we're going to start off with the defender that is most likely to leave my side, and it is the one on the bench who is now highlighted in yellow, and that is Robertson, who has Leicester away. Now there is a caveat here with the fact that Liverpool are likely to have a double game week at some point in this season, so I might not be too keen to get rid of all of them just in case they do suddenly find form, but if we're going off of form, they're probably players we can do without. Now, the reason we're not really looking at changing any other defenders is because we have the likes of Stones and Cancelo, who both are likely to be able to keep clean sheets. Also, Cancelo does have attacking threat, and then Cresswell and Shaw also have that attacking threat with the likelihood of clean sheets as well. Whereas Robertson, although there's a chance he gets attacking returns, Liverpool definitely haven't looked good defensively. So we look at the potential transfers in for Robertson, and to be honest, all of them will save us a significant amount of money as we look at the likes of Dallas, who is a player I really regret getting rid of. If I hadn't got rid of him, we'd probably be looking at a higher rank so far this season. Dallas doesn't have a double game week in 24, but his double game week is in 25 with Wolves away and Southampton at home. At 4.8 million, you're looking at someone that's playing out of position, as he's often seen in the middle of the park in midfield, and he's managed to get 5 shots with 2 on target, 2 from inside the box and 1 big chance, with 5 key passes, and that has of course resulted in those goals and assists, 1 apiece. However, if you want a budget option for double game week 25, then potentially you could be looking at a bench boost option of, and I don't know how to say the name, unfortunately. I'm probably not even going to try to say the name, although for your entertainment I guess I could. Struch. I'm sure I've even heard commentators say it, but I can't say the name. But he is 3.9 million, 4 shots on goal, 1 on target, 4 from inside the box, 2 big chances. Nothing as far as creativity, and expected assists at 0.15, expected goals at 0.83. He's not been very clinical, but he is a defender, so maybe if they get some clean sheets, that could be some additional points off of a bench boost for you. And then moving on to someone's name who hopefully I can say, and it's Loughton, who at 4.5 million for Burnley has Crystal Palace away and Fulham at home in double game week 24, which I think is a fantastic 2 fixtures for a Burnley player to potentially keep a clean sheet against Crystal Palace that might not have Zaha, and against Fulham. So hopefully Burnley can definitely be getting some clean sheet points on the board, hopefully in both games, and getting you some significant points. Back to the team selection, and the next players we are looking at potentially moving on are actually Jack Grealish, which is a bit of a surprise to me because I am a fan of the way he's been playing this season, and he has been performing well in an Aston Villa side that do look good. My issue is, in the last 4 game weeks, he has been outperformed by the likes of Watkins, who is significantly cheaper than he is, and he's only managed 1 goal and 2 assists, which in its own isn't a bad return, but we're looking at other players that potentially for cheaper could be providing the same amount of points, and we could spend that money elsewhere. As far as Salah goes, Salah has looked very disappointing in a Liverpool side. However, underlying stats-wise, 14 shots on goal, 10 from inside the box, but only 5 on target, 4 big chances only resulting in 3 goals, and also no assists, which isn't really what we want from a 12.7 million player, but there is the fear of him potentially performing in a future double game week if it is a decent double game week. So Salah's more of a fear prospect that may not be transferred out, and Jack Grealish, kind of feel like I don't need him anymore because there are other Aston Villa players I could be looking at. So the people we're considering for the midfield slot to bring in for Double Gameweek 24 and 25 are as follows. We are looking at Sterling, Raheem Sterling, who, I'm going to be honest, I haven't been impressed by recently, but he has been getting returns, 3 goals and 1 assist. And his next fixtures are, of course, Tottenham at home and Everton away. He does then have Arsenal in game week 25, and there is, of course, the potential for a double game week in 26. So we are liking the looks of Raheem Sterling, and he could be highly captained. So if he does perform, it could really hurt our rank if we don't own him. However, the underlying stats don't look as good as some other players. He's had 8 shots on goal, 5 have been on target, which is decent, all 8 from inside the box, 4 big chances. But with 4 big chances, he's only scored 3 goals. We'd like those underlying stats to be a bit better than they are. His expected goals, however, is at 2.24, so maybe he's just taking his chances when they are good chances, and maybe I'm reading too much into his underlying stats. We then also have 5 key passes and 1 big chance created, which resulted in that 1 assist, with expected assists at 1.04. So Raheem Sterling is definitely a player to consider. It's going to be difficult for me to get him because I already have 3 City players. I'm quite happy with how they've been performing, but there is a chance Raheem Sterling could be a consideration for me, and if you can fit him in, he should be a consideration for you. Next player we have is Rafinha, who has Wolves and Southampton in his double game week 25. Wolves away and Southampton at home. At 5.3 million, he's a bargain who's managed to get 2 goals and 3 assists in the last 4 game weeks, which is an absolute fantastic return for a player at that price. And the thing is, it's from underlying stats that I feel a little bit more confident in, as he's had 10 shots, 6 on target, 9 of those shots being from inside the box and 2 big chances, with expected goals at 1.71 and 3 assists from key passes of 6, a big chance created of 2, with an expected assist at 1.36. And to me, he's the player I enjoy watching the most out of that Leeds side. And it's probably the reason I did get rid of Bamford and Dallas in the end, because I thought eventually I would end up on Rafinha, who is my favourite player in that Leeds side. Not that Dallas and Bamford haven't been performing. And then finally, we also have Leeds' Jack Harrison, who with Wolves away and Southampton at home, just like Rafinha, he has managed in the last 4 game weeks to get 3 goals and 0 assists from 7 shots on goal, 5 of which are on target and 7 from inside the box with 1 big chance. Now, I prefer Rafinha, especially as he's 0.1 million cheaper, but if you wanted to double up on the midfield, I wouldn't be against bringing in Harrison. There's always a chance he does better than Rafinha in that double game week. Back to the team and the strikers, and to be honest, we're happy with Antonio and Calvert-Lewin at the moment. So the player we're looking at getting rid of is Wilson, who does have Chelsea away, and there is a slight injury concern there. That is not to deny Wilson's underlying stats, though. He has managed 12 shots on goal recently, 4 of which have been on target, all 12 from inside the box and 4 big chances, which resulted in 2 goals with expected goals at 1.97. He has also managed to get 2 assists from 2 key passes and 1 big chance created. So if he was still sticking around, there is a chance I would keep him if there wasn't that injury concern around him. However, there is no planned double game week, at least that I can see, for them, so he would be an easy player to move. So one of those Leeds players, probably, of course, Patrick Bamford, who, of course, is very likely to feature in our next slide. So let's not beat around the bush, let's get straight to it. Patrick Bamford is my first option as a striker for this team. With Wolves away and Southampton at home at 6.7 million, he's managed to get 2 goals and 3 assists in the last 4 game weeks. Of course, those are 4 game weeks I haven't owned him for, which is fantastic, and I acknowledge my mistake, but he was just so infuriating before those 4 game weeks that I got rid, and now I'm really suffering looking at those points that he's managed to score. Those 2 goals and 3 assists have come from 12 shots on goal, 6 of which were on target, all from inside the box and 4 big chances. with expected goals of 2.23, so he's actually underperforming his XG. Also, key passes at 6 and 3 big chances created with expected assists at 1.69, which means the players around him are finishing at a better rate than he is, because he's managed to get higher assists than his expected assists. But Bamford is definitely someone I wish I hadn't got rid of, so really regretting that transfer out, which was a bit of a heat of the moment transfer because of the way he'd performed for me recently. And had there not been so quick a turnaround, maybe I wouldn't have made that mistake, but it's done now. The next striker we're looking at is Danny Ings. Now, he doesn't really have any form to speak of. The underlying stats suggest that potentially he could do something in the double game week that Southampton have in game week 25, which is Chelsea and Leeds. Despite the fact of no goals and no assists, he has managed 9 shots on goal with 4 on target, 7 from inside the box and 2 big chances with expected goals at 1.38. We do know that Danny Ings is a decent finisher, so maybe he can turn it around for the double game week. He also has 4 key passes with 2 big chances created, expected assists at 1.20. The only issue is that Southampton side does seem very disjointed at the moment. I'm not sure I'd like to spend 8.4 million on a striker, despite the fact I think a lot of us do have cash in the bank to be able to spend a little bit on some luxury players. And then finally we have a player I'm just going to call Reed, because I'm not going to try and say the first bit of his name. I've already managed to butcher someone else's name in this video, so let's try and keep it simple. 5.3 million, we have 1 goal for Reed that's come from 8 shots on goal, 1 on target, 8 from inside the box and 2 big chances. We expected goals at 0.88. Also 3 key passes with expected assists at 0.29. Now they're not amazing stats, I'll admit that, but if you wanted to take a punt on a Fulham player that isn't Lookman, because I did suggest Lookman in the previous video, then if you wanted to have a go at getting some points from Everton and Burnley away from Fulham and then Sheffield United in game week 25, then potentially you could be looking at Reed. So guys, that is it for this potential transfers video on my team selection. If you have enjoyed this video, you've been doing a great job of it already, but hit that like button, subscribe and hit that notification bell for FPL, and hopefully we will be getting a stream over on my Twitch channel the same day as this video goes live, so hopefully you'll join me there and I can try and answer some of your FPL questions, and maybe you can see how I look through the data on Fantasy Football Hub, which is something that Fantasy Football Hub have allowed me to put onto my stream, so much appreciation from Fantasy Football Hub for that. So come join me over on Twitch if you see any sort of live notification that I'm on there, or follow me on Twitter, where I will say about 20 minutes beforehand that I'm about to go live. With all that being said, I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.